Hello there, only One Kenobi here, only one, and welcome to episode 21 of Only One Fans. Just going to whip this one together now. This is Wednesday I'm filming this because tomorrow, Thursday, I'm travelling down to London for Star Wars Celebration. I'm getting the coach, so I've got plenty of hours to burn, so I thought it would be quite nice to get some footage for an Only One Fans episode and edit it on that journey, man. So that's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to the event, and probably by the time you see this, it would have happened already because it's obviously Monday I put these shows out. Let's start the show with a quick question from a guy called Blake Kemp, and he asked me, do I like Rebels? So I'm going to answer that now, but also before I do that, just to let you know that the on the agenda today for the show is the usual things. I'm going to be opening one vehicle. Actually, I thought, let's open this, the Cloud Car. We're going to make this a Cloud Car episode, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to feature the Cloud Car in a Spotlight special as well. But this is something that was gifted to me. It's the Expanded Universe edition. It's a single carriage or single passenger, whatever you want, single pilot, Cloud Car. Looking forward to that. And what else am I going to do? Yeah, I'm going to be answering some of your voice notes that I have received, which is pretty cool. I do enjoy that in One Voice. One Voice. Yeah, man. So it's been a while since I've done an episode. But firstly, Blake Camp, man, you asked about Rebels. And the truth about Rebels is that when it first came out, I watched season 1 and I was, quite into it, actually. I enjoyed it. Then many years went past and I heard all these sort of people bickering about it, saying it's not that good. And first and foremost, I'm a huge Clone Wars fan, right? By the way, as you can probably tell, these are all the figures of Rebels I have in the world. But I got around to watching all of Rebels last year, and my mate, Tom, kept saying to me, stick with it, man, just keep watching. Season 4 is great, and I'll tell you now, I found some of it quite weary. I found it like taking a medicine you don't want to have to take. I couldn't get into it at all. I was just forcing myself to watch it. But by the time I got to season 4, I do agree that I understood what the hype was, that he was bigging it up, and it's really good. But these figures are awesome. And also, let's not forget, I want to just mention quickly Zeb here. The fact that he's turned up now in real life action, now that has legitimised my desire for any of these people in the vintage collection. I've been somebody, even in March Madness, who sort of voted them down and said that I'm not interested in Rebels characters. Not because I hate it or anything, it's just not necessarily my favourite of animated shows. Not so, against the Clone Wars, I love the Clone Wars a lot, both the Genndy Tartakovsky and the Dave Filoni era. But I mustn't forget, I really enjoyed season 1. I was quite invested in that little gang, and they're pretty cool. But now we've seen him, I'd now like to see what the others look like in live action. And if we start to see these characters in Ahsoka or wherever, then that's going to be awesome. And then bring them on. And don't forget the vintage collection, we base it on how they look supposedly in the real world. What I mean is, for characters like Ventress, any of these people, Kanan, and you're basing it on how they look as a drawn character. Whereas, when it came to making an Ahsoka figure based on Rosario Dawson, they could sort of make it a blend of both worlds, if that makes any sense to you. But it was great seeing Zeb. It was really good. And that now brings me to the Ghost, which has been rumoured. I did do a video on that. I've just finished filming it. Will we get the Ghost? Do you want the Ghost? I'd love a Ghost because, you know, I'm not massively into Rebels, but I do like big vehicles. And I think that would be one that would, well, it would please me. I like the design of the Ghost. I do understand its heritage based on the Macquarie artwork. You know, it is a classic, even though it's a modern day classic, you know what I mean? And I think it would be pretty cool, and I wouldn't say no to getting these characters in. Totally changing my opinion on that now, because I'm somebody who has never ever given these people the time of day, but I'd be prepared to see where they would go with it. But that's all dependent on live action programming, Ahsoka, or whatever else they're going to give us, even in things like Mando and stuff like that. You've seen these people starting to appear. I hope that answers your question, Blade. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Only One Fans. Let's get the show on the road, ladies and gentlemen.
Open my figures. If I don't man, I got triggered, yeah. I just wanna open my figures. If I just wanna open my fingers. I just wanna open my fingers. I just wanna.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it wouldn't be an episode of Only One Fans without a spotlight special, so I thought I would feature the Bespin cloud car today. And speaking of which, I'd like to now open this one for you. Looking forward to it, so join me for that. I haven't even said, today is the Easter episode of Only One Fans. Happy Easter. Forgot to mention that at the very beginning. This will be technically the Easter special, if there is such a thing. So there you are. Now let me just go back onto the normal view. I'm on the wide angle here. There we are. And before I open this, let's just say one final thing on this. It's a crying shame that wasn't put out again for example, 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back in 2020. I always thought that would be lovely, because I did acquire this. I bought it loose, but as is ever the case with these vehicles, some of them can go for massive amounts on the secondary market. But that's a lovely vehicle and an easy one probably for them to repack, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so this is the cloud car. This was gifted to me by, who was it now? Luke B, I believe. He sent me loads of really cool stuff recently. So this is the last thing I need to open of yours, Luke, vehicle-wise. So let's do it. This isn't necessarily tied to the Shadows of the Empire, which I've got great admiration for that as well. But I can't not think of the Shadows of the Empire when I look at this, because when you see or talk about cloud cars, you think of The Empire Strikes Back, and obviously Shadows of the Empire was the direct sequel to that, or the interim chapter between Empire and Jedi. And that is that. Did I give you a good look at the packaging? There's some artwork there. This is all based on Macquarie, I understand. I think. Let's have a look at the freeze frame on that if you want to see it. Yeah, man. Brilliant. Bespin Motors Cloud Car. Bespin Motors, wow. Motor company. And this looks great. From that angle there, it reminds you of the twin cloud car. This is obviously a single one. Can't wait to put these together, man. This is great. It'd be interesting to see how well the colours match. Look at that airspeed of that. I wouldn't mind that. That's very like the one you saw in Kenobi, although that was a kind of looked more like the one in Empire, and God knows how they got more than 2 people in those. That's a separate issue. This is looking nifty. Look at this. It's a classic Kenner as well, man. It's a real interesting piece. Look at that. The Emperor. I think I've shown you everything there. And it comes with that figure. I did have him loose and I showed you him not long ago. Actually, there he is there. That's who I'm talking about. That design was very like the Doctor and that Imperial who wiped his memory. They all kind of had that uniform. And it's interesting that they all have a name tag. Not necessarily him. He's got a badge, but all those remnants have that, including Jack Black and his missus, or Jack Black did. He had a thing to say that, I think it's for people who are ex-Empire. It's almost like they're tagged, man. Interesting. Anyway, there you are. Let's get it open. Let's give you a first look at it. It's kind of oh yeah, it's it's more of a red, that actually. It's definitely dark orange, but when you put that in the picture, that's more orange than that. But maybe that's how they looked, man. In the clouds, with the blue light, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. I'd have to watch Empire Strikes Back again. Let's get this open. Look at all that. That's mint as mint can be, Luke B. Oh, that just opened. How about that? We'll like that. Lock that like that, do you? And then I guess you... Oh, yeah. I like that. What a nice feature. Look at all this as well. Makes you not want to... It's been like that since the mid-90s. It's insane. And look at the great condition. It's lasted so well. Let's get this out. This is the cockpit, obviously. Look at all this, man. That's all minty fresh. It could have been made yesterday. It has definitely stood the test of time in storage. How about that? Whatever that is. Yeah. I think that's got to be a missile, isn't it? That. What else? Let's get this guy out. And here he is. 2 of these guys now. Look at that as well. Yet more evidence of mintness. And the figure... Oh yeah, it's got that kind of... You know, when figures age. It's got a little bit of a sticky texture, but I've rubbed it off now. There he is. Definitely got that classic bulk. Power of the Force 2, slightly steroidy. But there you are. That's good. That is... What is this? Look at this thing here. Wow. Should we get this open? See what we have here. Ah, some instructions there. There you are. Seems pretty straightforward. There's the wings. We've already done that. That goes on the canopy. And then, yeah, what else? Flaps. Oh, pardon. Projectile, as I suspected. Great. How do we open the flaps? So we do that to open the wings. And these flaps just... How do we get them? Ah, they just... I see. They just open like that. There we are. Let's get that lovely protective paper out of there. Nice looking vehicle. Look at the features inside. Pretty good. And the projectile will go in here. Nice. And then let's put this canopy. Oh, look at that, like a ball joint there. Check it out. Check it out. Wow. It looks like something from the... Well, I don't want to say Thunderbirds, but possibly. Yeah, no, I was thinking more Captain Scarlet. I know more about Captain Scarlet than Thunderbirds, but the vehicles were of that ilk. Maybe if it was based on a Macquarie design, you know, he probably came from that era. Look at that. What an interesting vehicle that is. Very interesting indeed. Very glad to have that in my collection. How do we fire that projectile? Let's see. There's a button here, maybe that will do it. Oh yeah! Very good. Just close that, and then these should go in like that. Very interesting vehicle, and that goes back like that. Wow, well there you are. There's 2 cloud cars for you. That's interesting. Thank you, Luke, for sending me that. I'm fascinated with things like that, and adding to the vehicle collection, of course. That'll be put somewhere in this collection here, but look at that, side by side with that. Amazing. I guess they didn't do a Power of the Force 2 Bespin car, as in the twin car. They had one in the 80s, I understand. And then they have this sleeker one from the modern era. And darn it, Hasbro, it would have been lovely if you'd given that in the TVC box, reissued it, you know, for people who never got it, and people who want to keep it carded or whatever, or boxed in that beautiful artwork. Can you imagine the artwork for that? Would be awesome, wouldn't it? Anyway, I'll leave that one there. Thank you, Luke B, man. That's awesome. And I hope you have enjoyed that review. Yoink! We're back. I never put the pilot inside, so let's do that now. Bear with me. Let's get him in there. It's definitely a heat. In he goes. I mean, with that hat on, that's so Super Mario Nation. With his design as well. You know what I mean? It's definitely got that retro 60s Scarlet Thunderbird Stingray vibe, man. What an interesting vehicle that is. That is so cool, man. Interested. Very interesting. Once again, thank you for watching. Boom.
What's up, sir? I really enjoyed the video. It was very fun to see your coworker sharing the family Star Wars collection with you, which makes me wonder, how do your friends and family react when you show them your collection rooms? My wife and I moved last year, so we've made new friends, and you know, first time you have someone over the house for dinner and then you give them a tour, whoa, that's a lot of toys, and mostly positive reactions for me, but it's always fun to see them taken aback. So yeah, I'm just curious, your collection is much larger than mine. What do people say?
Hey man, it's a really good question. You're good at them, man. You always ask good questions. C3PO concepts. But yeah, man, it's funny because when people do come in here, even if they're not a Star Wars fan, they are absolutely amazed, and it's so funny. Like, I remember when I first moved in here, the guy who was building my kitchen. Now during the lockdown of 2020, I couldn't really live here at all. I could come here and do a few bits and bobs, like put my collection room together. I couldn't fully move in because of the fact that I had no kitchen. The heating hadn't been finished. The guy who started that job, it was straight the day after they shut everything down, so I had no heating and there was no kitchen in here, man. So I was living elsewhere. But what I could do was come by here and start putting my collection together, including putting these shelves up. About, say, 3 years ago now I started putting these shelves up. So around about July, when the guy came to finish the kitchen, he walked in here, and I swear to God, it was so funny. He's a mate of my dad's, and he was just stood in the middle of this room, and it wasn't even as full as it is now, man. I've got way more in here than I did then. So God knows what people's reactions will be now. But he just stood there, and he's with his mate, the electrician guy, and he was just absolutely awestruck and gobsmacked, and he just did not know where to look. It was so funny, and I was like, can we move on now, or should we? And I think he was up here to look at the I don't know why, he was just obviously having a look around, and it was just hilarious, really funny. And I've had similar things whereby I've had people, the guy who comes and services my central heating, the guy last year was in here, and he was a Star Wars fan, and he was blown away. And there was a guy previous to that who wasn't a Star Wars fan, but he was mesmerized. So even if you're either a Star Wars fan or you're not, but even I found, even with people who are not Star Wars fans, they're kind of mesmerized and blown away. So it's interesting. I do like the reaction. It's quite funny. But then I think to myself, my God, what do they think of me? And it's just mad. This stuff sort of builds up, doesn't it? You know what I mean? But when they see it in an instant, boom, they see years and years of collecting in one go. It must be a bit kind of intense, I guess. I just don't know, man. It's really funny though. Happens every now and again, but the best are the people who are not expecting it. You know what I mean? It's really funny. Good question. Let me know your thoughts below if you've had similar things, experiences with people coming and seeing your collection for the first time and what their reaction was.
Hello there. Hello, Nick. A question for your Only One fans for a future video. What do you watch on YouTube besides Star Wars? There we go. There's my question.
Hello there, Ian. Hello, I should say. It's a good question, man. Surprisingly, I don't watch very many other Star Wars figure collectors. I do have a few people that I watch, and I'd like to list them later on. But firstly, at the minute, you see, like in terms of YouTube, I watch a variety of different things on YouTube. You know, usually I'll do the stuff for my channel and then I'm shut of it, Star Wars. I will watch stuff that's completely unrelated. Like right now, I'm a big theme park fan, have been for years, but because I'm going back there to Florida in the summer, I've been watching a lot of channels, and I don't mind naming a few of them now. The Tim Tracker, I love watching him. Adam the Woo, I'm a big fan of Resort TV 1. They're a good channel. I've met them in real life as well. They're lovely. They're a brother and sister, actually. People confuse and think they're a couple, but they're not. They're brother and sister, but they do lovely live streams and good tours of the parks. I also like to watch a channel called 4K WDW. 4K Walt Disney World. Brilliant channel. No commentary, no voice, just he walks, or she, never assume the gender, walk around the parks and film and soak it up, man. The vibes in those places, the sounds, the sights, and even the smells, which you can't get that from the video, but that's what I'm looking forward to. It is a multi-sensory experience, those theme parks. Love them with all my heart, man. Say what you want about Disney, but I tell you what, the man Walt Disney, and the theme park company that they produced, and that is just unbelievable, man. I'm a huge fan and lover of all things to do with the theme parks, the music. I could waffle on about that for a long time. So that's what I'm watching a lot of at the minute on YouTube. And then as for Star Wars people, I subscribe to Star Wars Theory and people like that, but there's one person in particular that I hang by their word. I watch their videos. That's Thor Skywalker, man. He's right up there, man. I've got a lot of respect for Thor. I prefer the videos when it's just him. No disrespect to his missus, but when she's on, it sounds terrible me saying that, but I just prefer to hear him talking about it. But yeah, that's just the preference. Like I watched a lot of, he's not a Star Wars channel, but Mr. H reviews. I respect his opinion on movies and films and pop culture news. There's a lot of people, Ian, that I watch. Lots of different things, totally unrelated to Star Wars and even pop culture, you know. Lots of things, but that's for probably a separate video in itself, man. I'll be happy to waffle on and tell you more about that. And there you are, ladies and gentlemen. That's all she wrote. It's not over yet, though. I'm going to open something that just arrived at my front door from Kapow Toys, which is amazing. There's a little story behind that one as well. This has been the Easter special, should we say, of Only One Fans. I forgot to say that in the introduction, but it is, isn't it? It is Easter, and this will be out on the Monday. I'll be editing it tomorrow on my way down to London. And then you've got Friday. Good Friday's when I'm at Celebration. And then you've got the Saturday and Easter Sunday. I should be back home for a family thing. So that'll be quite nice. And then that is it. So thank you for watching this. But I would like to open this. And there's a little bit of confusion with this. This has come from Kapow Toys. I'll hide my real address. You know the whole Indiana Jones thing? They had the retro stuff of that. And every time I looked at it or saw it anywhere listed, it was all sold out at pre-order. So I kind of just gave up. I wouldn't have minded the Indiana Jones. And then I sort of lost track on all of it. I'd also quite like to get the 6-inch figure of Indy, although I don't do 6-inch generally. I wouldn't mind that one. I do have a couple of 6-inch figures. Wrestling as well. Wrestling figures. But yeah, so I kind of had a look around, and the same story. Everywhere was sold out of Indy figures. But I was on Kapow Toys yesterday and they had some available, so I bought one, and it's bloody arrived. I didn't even know that they were out already. There's a few people who have videos already and reviews of these figures. They're out, man. And I actually was also on Hasbro Pulse yesterday, and I ordered the other 4. But but I wasn't expecting this to arrive now. So it shocked me, and it just goes to show that I'm not up to date with what's going on people's channels and stuff. If anyone else has reviewed this, I do beg your pardon, in my circle of friends, but this is it, man. There he is, Indiana Jones. That is, flimsy cardstock. Interesting. Yeah. Don't have to put this out as a separate video. Yeah, well, I've kind of reviewed it now, haven't I? Yeah, flimsy cardstock. There's not really that much to write home about, but this is just a little surprise. I thought I'd add this to the end of the video. But there you are, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome. Thank you for watching this video. I never had I don't think many people in the UK had vintage Indiana Jones figures, but still interesting to see that now. How cool is that? So I've got the other ones coming soon, which consists of the German mechanic, and then it's Tote, whatever his name is, then it's Marion, and then it is René Bellac. So there you are. Thank you for watching. Happy Easter, ladies and gentlemen. I've been Only One Kenobi. You are my One Kenobis, the Only One fans. Happy Easter.